Dame Joan Henrietta Collins, born May 23, 1933, is an English actress, author, and columnist. Collins is the recipient of several accolades, including a Golden Globe Award, a People's Choice Award, 2 Soap Opera Digest Awards, and a Primetime Emmy Award nomination. She is one of the last surviving stars from the golden age of Hollywood cinema. In 1983, Collins was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She has been recognized for her philanthropy, particularly her advocacy towards causes relating to children, which has earned her many honors. In 2015, she was made a dame by Queen Elizabeth II for her charitable services, presented to her by the then Prince of Wales, Charles III. Collins was born in Paddington, London, and trained as an actress in her teens at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. She signed to the Rank organization at the age of 17 and had small roles in the British films Lady Godiva Rides Again, 1951, and The Woman's Angle, 1952, before taking on a supporting role in Judgment Deferred, 1952. Collins went under contract to 20th Century Fox in 1955, and in that same year she starred as Evelyn Nesbit in The Girl in the Red Velvet Swing, Elizabeth Raleigh in The Virgin Queen, and Princess Nilüfer in Land of the Pharaohs, the latter garnering a cult following. Collins continued to take on film roles throughout the late 1950s, appearing in The Opposite Sex, 1956, See Wife, 1957, and The Wayward Bus, 1957. After starring in the epic Filmmaster and The King, 1960, she was released on request from her contract with 20th Century Fox. Collins appeared only in a few film roles in the 1960s, notably starring in The Road to Hong Kong, 1962, and Warning Shot, 1967. Collins also appeared in the Star Trek episode The City on the Edge of Forever as Edith Keeler, 1967, and Subterfuge, 1968. Collins began to take on local roles again back in Britain in the 1970s, appearing in the films Revenge, 1971, Quest for Love, 1971, Tales from the Crypt, 1972, Fear in the Night, 1972, and Dark Places, 1973, as well as Tales That Witness Madness, 1973, Empire of the Ants, 1977, which earned her a Saturn Award nomination, The Stud, 1978, 0 to 60, 1978, Game for Vultures, 1979, and The Bitch, 1979. From 1981 to 1989, she starred as Alexis Colby in the soap opera Dynasty, which made her an international superstar. It brought her critical acclaim, winning her the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Television Series, Drama in 1982, and earning her a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series in 1984. In the 1990s and 2000s, Collins worked sporadically in acting. She took fewer film roles, most notably appearing in The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas, 2000, and the TV movie These Old Broads, 2001, alongside Elizabeth Taylor, Debbie Reynolds, and Shirley MacLaine. She made her comeback to mainstream television in the 2010s, taking on recurring roles in the series Happily Divorced, 2011 to 2013, The Royals, 2014 to 2018, Benidorm, 2014 to 2017, and American Horror Story, Apocalypse, 2018. Her first starring film role since the 1980s was The Time of Their Lives, 2017, and she has also appeared in various independent films, which includes the critically acclaimed Jerry, 2018. Early life. Collins was born on May 23, 1933 in Paddington, London, and brought up in Maida Vale, the daughter of Elsa Collins, née Besant, a dance teacher, and Joseph William Collins, a talent agent whose clients would later include Shirley Bassey, the Beatles, and Tom Jones. Her father, a native of South Africa, was Jewish, and her British mother was Anglican. She had 2 younger siblings, Jackie, a novelist, and Bill, a property agent. She was educated at the Francis Holland School, an independent day school for girls in London. Collins made her stage debut in the Henrik Ibsen play A Doll's House at the age of 9, and at the age of 16 trained as an actress at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, in London. At the age of 17, Collins was signed to the Rank Organization, a British film studio. Acting career. 1950s. After signing with Rank, Collins appeared in many British films. Her feature debut as a film extra playing a beauty contestant in Lady Godiva Rides Again, 1951, which featured Diana Dors. Collins followed up with The Woman's Angle, 1952, a minor role as a Greek maid. Next was a more significant role as a gangster's moll in Judgment Deferred, 1952. Collins's big break came with a major, highly publicized role as a juvenile delinquent in I Believe in You, 1952. Her success in the part led to her initial stardom and the press nickname Britain's Bad Girl. Her subsequent films, whilst under contract to Rank, included Decameron Nights, 1953, with Joan Fontaine, England's first ex-certificate drama, Kosh Boy, 1953, directed by Lewis Gilbert, Turn the Key Softly, 1953, a drama about 3 women released from prison on the same day, and the boxing saga The Square Ring, 1953. Collins was top billed in the desert island comedy Our Girl Friday, 1953, co-starring Kenneth More. She was directed again by Lewis Gilbert in The Good Die Young, 1954, with Lawrence Harvey and Gloria Graham. Between films, she appeared in several plays in London, including The Seventh Veil, 1952, Jassy, 1952, Claudia and David, 1954, and The Skin of Our Teeth, 1954, as well as a UK tour of The Praying Mantis, 1953. In 1954, Collins was chosen by American director Howard Hawks to star as the scheming Princess Nilüfer in her first international production, Land of the Pharaohs. The lavish Warner Brothers historical epic was unsuccessful upon release, but has been lauded by Martin Scorsese and French critics supporting the auteur theory for numerous elements of its physical production. Danny Peary, in his book Cult Movies, 1981, selected it as a cult classic. Collins's sultry performance so impressed 20th Century Fox chief Darryl Zanuck that he signed the young star to a 7-year contract with the Hollywood studio. Collins made her Hollywood film debut in the lavish historical drama The Virgin Queen, 1955. The British newcomer was given equal billing with established stars Bette Davis and Richard Todd. The same year, Collins was cast in the starring role of Evelyn Nesbit in The Girl in the Red Velvet Swing with Ray Milland and Farley Granger. The part had originally been intended for Marilyn Monroe, however problems between Monroe and Fox led to Collins gaining the role. MGM borrowed Collins for The Opposite Sex, 1956, a musical remake of The Women, 1939, in which she was cast as the gold-digging Crystal, the role played by Joan Crawford in the original. She then starred as a young nun in Sea Wife, 1956, top billed over co-star Richard Burton, followed by The All-Star Island in the Sun, 1957, which was a major box office success. The film earned $5,550,000 worldwide and finished as the 6th highest-grossing film of 1957. In 1957, she was top billed over Jane Mansfield in the film version of John Steinbeck's The Wayward Bus, which despite disappointing reviews was nominated for the Golden Berlin Bear Award at the 7th Berlin International Film Festival. She then starred opposite Robert Wagner in the espionage thriller Stopover Tokyo, 1957, and was Gregory Peck's leading lady in the Western drama The Bravados, 1958. The Leo McCarey comedy Rally Round the Flag, Boys, 1958, cast Collins as a temptress out to seduce Paul Newman away from Joanne Woodward. Next came the tense crime caper Seven Thieves, 1960, opposite Edward G. Robinson and Rod Steiger. 1960s. In 1960, Collins became increasingly disillusioned with 20th Century Fox when, having been the original choice to play the title role in Cleopatra, the part went instead to Elizabeth Taylor. Collins withdrew from the studio's production of Sons and Lovers and requested a release from her contract. However, she agreed to star in one last film for Fox, top billed again in the biblical epic Esther and the King, 1960. In 1961, she returned to London to star opposite Bing Crosby and Bob Hope in the last of that film duo's road pictures, The Road to Hong Kong, 1962. Former Road leading lady Dorothy Lamour was relegated to a guest appearance in the film. In Italy, Collins starred in Hard Time for Princes, 1965. Back in the US, she played David Jansen's wife in the detective thriller Warning Shot, 1967. In the UK, she was the leading lady in The Spy Caper Subterfuge, 1968, and made a cameo appearance in the comedy If It's Tuesday, This Must Be Belgium, 1969. In the US, Collins starred opposite her husband Anthony Newley in his autobiographical musical Can Hieronymus Merkin Ever Forget Mercy Hump and Find True Happiness? 1969, a decision she later regretted. Then came the female lead in the Italian drama L'Amore Brave, 1969, The Executioner, 1970, a thriller with George Peppard, and Up in the Cellar, 1970, a quasi-sequel to Three in the Attic. Although she had made several appearances on interview and game shows in the late 1950s and early 1960s, Collins began her television dramatic career with a guest role in The Human Jungle in 1963. Her notable appearances on American television during the 1960s included playing the villainous siren in Batman, Run for Your Life, The Virginian, Mission Impossible, The Man from UNCLE, and in Star Trek, the original series, she played Edith Keeler in the episode The City on the Edge of Forever. 1970s. In the 1970s, Collins remained busy on television. She starred in the TV movies The Man Who Came to Dinner, 1972, with Orson Welles and Lee Remick, and Drive Hard, Drive Fast, 1973, opposite Brian Kelly. Her many guest appearances during the decade included The Persuaders, alongside Roger Moore and Tony Curtis, Fallen Angels with Susanna York, Space 1999, Orson Welles' Great Mysteries, Police Woman, The Money Changers with Kirk Douglas and Christopher Plummer, Starsky and Hutch, Tattletales, Switch, Future Cop, Ellery Queen, The Fantastic Journey, Beretta, and 3 separate episodes of Tales of the Unexpected. She rounded off the decade playing Cleopatra in an episode of Aaron Spelling's Fantasy Island. In 1970, Collins returned to Britain and starred in several films, mostly thrillers and horror films. Revenge, 1971, as the vengeance-seeking mother of a murdered child, Quest for Love, 1971, a romantic science fiction piece, Tales from the Crypt, 1972, a highly successful horror anthology, Fear in the Night, 1972, a psychological horror from Jimmy Sangster, Dark Places, 1973, a thriller with Christopher Lee, and Tales That Witness Madness, 1973, another horror anthology. She went to Italy for the football-themed comedy L'Arbitro, 1974, to Spain for The Great Adventure opposite Jack Palance, and returned to England for yet another horror, playing the mother of a murderous infant in I Don't Want to Be Born, 1975. After 2 comedies, Alfie Darling, 1975, and The Body Adventures of Tom Jones, 1976, Collins returned to the U.S. to make what she now refers to as the nadir of her film career, the giant insect science fiction Peace Empire of the Ants, 1977. In Italy, she was the leading lady in the thriller Fearless, 1978, and the U.S. made the lighthearted 0 to 60, 1978, and back in the UK appeared with Robert Mitchum in The Big Sleep. In 1978, Collins was catapulted back to major stardom in the UK when she starred in the film version of her sister Jackie Collins's racy novel The Stud. It was made for $600,000 and went on to gross over $20 million internationally. At the same time, she published her autobiography, Past Imperfect, which went to number 1 in the bestseller charts. The Stud was so successful that a sequel, The Bitch, 1979, was hastily arranged. It too was a hit. After shooting Game for Vultures, 1979, opposite Richard Harris and Sunburn, 1979, with Farrah Fawcett, Collins returned to the stage for the first time in many years to play the title role in The Last of Mrs. Cheney, 1980, and London's West End. 1980s. In 1981, Collins accepted a role in the second season of the then-struggling soap opera Dynasty, 1981-89, as Alexis Colby, the beautiful and vengeful ex-wife of oil tycoon Blake Carrington, John Forsythe. Dynasty became an enormous worldwide phenomenon, and by 1985 the program was the #1 show in the United States, beating out CBS rival Dallas, which ranked #2. For her portrayal of Alexis, Collins was nominated 6 times for a Golden Globe Award every year from 1982 to 1987, winning in 1983. The same year she was nominated for an Emmy as Best Actress in a Drama Series. In accepting the award, Collins thanked Sophia Loren for turning down the part of Alexis. Her performance is generally credited as the chief factor in the fledgling show's subsequent rise in the Nielsen ratings to a hit rivaling Dallas. In the 2001 E! True Hollywood Story episode featuring Dynasty, former ABC executive Ted Harbert stated, "The truth is we didn't really believe that we had this thing done as a hit until Joan Collins walked down that courtroom aisle." Co-star Al Corley noted that Collins just flew in the role that was tailor-made, just spot on. In Dynasty producer Aaron Spelling's final press interview, he said of Collins, "We didn't write Joan Collins. She played Joan Collins. Am I right? We wrote a character, but the character could have been played by 50 people and 49 of them would have failed. She made it work." In recognition of her new status, in 1983 Collins was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for career achievement. Whilst filming Dynasty, Collins starred in the feature film Nutcracker, 1982, and the TV movies Paper Dolls, 1982, The Wild Women of Chastity Gulch, 1982, Making of a Male Model, 1983, with John Eric Hexum, Her Life as a Man, 1984, and The Cartier Affair, 1984, with David Hasselhoff. She made guest star appearances in The Love Boat and Fairy Tale Theater, and co-hosted an ABC TV special created for her, Blondes vs. Brunettes. At the age of 50, Collins appeared in a 12-page photo layout for Playboy magazine shot by George Hurl. With Dynasty at the height of its success, Collins both produced and starred in the smash hit 1986 CBS miniseries Sins, and also in the same year, Monte Carlo. 1990s. Personal life. Marriages and family. Collins has been married 5 times, first to Northern Irish actor Maxwell Reid, whom she married on May 24, 1952 after he allegedly raped her. She divorced Reid in 1956. In 1959, Collins began a relationship with the then-unknown actor Warren Beatty. They became engaged in 1960, but his infidelity led to their split. Collins revealed in her 1978 autobiography that she became pregnant by Beatty but had an abortion to avoid a scandal that at the time could have seriously damaged their careers. In 1963, she married actor and singer-songwriter Anthony Newley, with whom she had 2 children, Tara and Alexander. She wed her 3rd husband, American businessman Ron Cass, in 1972, and the couple had a daughter, Katiana. After Collins' marriage to Cass ended in divorce in 1983, she married former singer Peter Holm on November 3, 1985, in a ceremony in Las Vegas. After a bitter separation, they were divorced on August 25, 1987. She married her 5th and current husband Percy Gibson, who was 31 years her junior, on February 17, 2002 at Claridge's Hotel in London. As of 2019, Collins had 3 grandchildren. Collins's younger sister was Jackie Collins, a best-selling author, who died in September 2015. Collins was informed only 2 weeks before her sister's death about the breast cancer Jackie had suffered from for over 6 years. Over the years, Collins has been named England's most beautiful girl. Collins maintains residences in London, Los Angeles, New York City, and France, describing her life in 2010 as being that of a gypsy. In 2019, Collins and Gibson escaped a terrifying fire at her London flat in Eaton Place. Gibson was able to contain the blaze using a fire extinguisher before the emergency services arrived. Collins was treated for smoke inhalation but was otherwise unharmed and thanked the emergency response crews on social media. Political views. She was a supporter of the late Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and was invited to attend her funeral on April 17, 2013. Collins is also a staunch monarchist, stating, "I'm a big monarchist and I love the Queen." In 2004, it was announced she had become a patron of the UK Independence Party, though she later said this did not necessarily mean she would vote for the party. In 2013, Collins supported British withdrawal from the European Union. Honors. Collins was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, in the 1997 New Year Honours for services to drama and advanced to Dane Commander of the Order of the British Empire, DBE, in the 2015 New Year Honours for services to charity. Nickname the British Open. Gender female. Age 91 years old, in 2024. Date of birth May 23, 1933. Real name Dame Joan Henrietta Collins, DBE. Profession actress, writer, producer, author, columnist. Nationality British. Birthplace Paddington, London, United Kingdom. Religion not known. Joan Collins education. School, Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA. Joan Collins career. Profession, actress, writer, producer, author, columnist. Known for Dynasty, 1981, Empire of the Ants, 1977, and Land of the Pharaohs, 1955. Debut. Facts and Fancies, 1951. Net worth, $30 million. Family and relatives. Father, Joseph William Collins. Mother, Elsa Besant. Brother, William Collins Jr. Sister, Jackie Collins. Marital status, married. Husband, Percy Gibson, M. 2002, Peter Home, M. 1985 to 1987, Ron Cass, M. 1972 to 1983, Anthony Newley, M. 1963 to 1971, Maxwell Reed, M. 1952 to 1956. Children, 3. Son, Alexander Newley. Daughter, Tara Newley, Katiana Kennedy Cass. Past relationships. Peter Home, M. 1985 to 1987. Ron Cass, 1972 to 1983. Anthony Newley, 1963 to 1971. Maxwell Reed, 1952 to 1956.